Okay. Okay. If everyone could just mute their microphones as well. My colleagues, Deirdre O'Brien and Caroline York, will be taking queries in the private chat if anyone wants to throw them in there. And as we go along, we'll try and answer your questions. So I'm Eve Moore. I'm Key Action 1 Mobilities Officer here at Lergus. And I don't know if you want to introduce yourselves, Caroline and Deirdre.
Yeah, I'm Caroline. I work in schools as well with Deirdre and Eve.
Hi all, my name is Deirdre and I'm also in the school education sector with Caroline and Eve. So welcome everybody to this information session.
Okay, so we're going to be talking today about some general introductions to the Erasmus program, what it's all about, what's available for schools, what different formats, the benefits of mobility projects, and then kind of where to get started as well. So you can see here that we are currently in the 2021 to 2027 cycle of Erasmus Plus. So Erasmus Plus is all about enriching lives and opening minds through the European Union's programme for education, training, youth and sport. It's got a massive budget, as you can see there. That's only increasing after the previous programme, focused on mobility and partnerships. So Erasmus is kind of known for being in the higher education sector and universities, but when you see that Erasmus Plus, it's all about different sectors, schools, that's pre-primary, primary and post-primary, adult education, vocational education and training, as well as youth. So Erasmus Plus, every cycle they kind of review the priorities for projects and schools to consider. So the current priorities are 4 priorities that every project should kind of aim to contribute to or make a difference to. So that's inclusion and diversity, making kind of mobility opportunities. And when we say mobility, we mean kind of going abroad to an EU member state and going abroad. So making that an opportunity for everyone, for participants with fewer opportunities, and making it as inclusive as possible. We'll talk later about a couple of the supports for inclusion. Green as well, obviously really important in the current programme, trying to make travel as sustainable where possible, trying to educate students about sustainability, climate change, and where possible, obviously we're an island so it's kind of difficult, but promote the use of green travel. Some projects have found different ways to staying in eco-friendly hostels, hotels, digital resources, carpooling. Some have taken short haul flights and then done the rest of the journey by trains, kind of different ways to contribute to that and do our part. Digital, after COVID, obviously this was really important to upskill teachers and learners with digital skills, and so develop high quality digital learning and fostering digital capacities. We have some tools like e-twinning that we'll discuss later that can contribute to that, and active participation in democratic and civic engagement, and kind of fostering that mindset in students is really important, especially ahead of the EU elections in 2024. So we can see here the definition for Erasmus Plus. So Erasmus Plus is the European Union programme that promotes exchanges in the education, training, youth and sports sectors. So the current Erasmus Plus programme cycle commenced in 2020 and will run until 2027 and aims to be more inclusive, accessible and sustainable. So that's the 3 kind of priorities there. So just below there is all the different sectors that we spoke about that Erasmus Plus applies to. Like we said, higher education, they would have the Higher Education Authority would deal with that. So involved in the Erasmus Plus programme, you can set up projects with any EU member state, as well as non-EU programme countries and kind of associated countries that are listed there. So yeah, any EU member state you can set up and develop a project with. They're listed there. So these are kind of the horizontal objectives of Erasmus Plus, and so any kind of project, Erasmus Plus project should kind of, especially in the school sector, should contribute to these objectives in Erasmus, strengthening the European dimension of teaching and learning, as we said, promoting inclusion and diversity, tolerance and democratic participation, promoting knowledge about shared European heritage and richness in diversity, and supporting the development of professional networks across Europe and kind of building partnerships with different teachers in Europe. Increasing the quality of teaching and learning in school education by supporting professional development of teachers, school leaders, and other school staff. Any opportunity we discussed today is open to like teaching and non-teaching staff, getting everyone involved, SNAs, caretakers, absolutely everyone, and promoting the use of new technologies and innovative teaching methods, improving language learning and language diversity in schools. A lot of language projects. I'm sure a lot of you are language teachers, so huge priority for Erasmus Plus projects. Supporting the sharing and transfer of best practices in teaching and school development, and then contributing to the creation of the European education area by building schools' capacity to engage in cross-border exchanges and cooperation and carry out high-quality mobility projects, and sometimes develop partnerships and keep going and keep doing mobility projects with different schools, and making learning mobility a realistic possibility for any pupil in school education, and utilizing the resources available, inclusion support, again, we'll discuss that later, available to you with this program, and as well as fostering the recognition of learning outcomes of pupils and staff in mobility periods abroad. So we'll discuss this later again, but using tools such as Europass, if teachers were to do courses and training abroad, they can get this kind of Euro multi-use document that's available to them, as well as obviously course certificates. So eligible organizations. So with it, we're talking with the school education sector today. That's schools providing general education at pre-primary, primary, and secondary level, as well as local and regional public authorities, coordination bodies, and organizations with a role in the field of school education. So we have information on our website about the kind of details that would make you eligible, as well as a list for eligibility. So before starting your application project, we'd really recommend that you go and consult those eligibility criteria or get in touch if you are unsure. Thank you. So the different types of activities available to staff and learners in the Erasmus Plus for Schools program. So all of this information is taken from the Erasmus Plus 2024 program guide that just came out. It's quite important. It start in terms of the formats and kind of what you're eligible for and different days and details and the amount of students as well. So it's quite a big document, but it starts on page 107, what's relevant to the school sector. So again, this is really important, those pages, if you're looking to make your application project in terms of what you want to do. So for staff, you can do job shadowing from 2 to 60 days, going to another EU member state school and seeing which kind of observing different teaching practices in another school, maybe to address the needs of your school and implement a different change into your school back in Ireland, bring that back. Teaching assignments are kind of longer. They can last between 2 days and up to a year. Going abroad for that period to complete a specific teaching assignment. Then you have courses and training, which are quite popular, lasting between 2 and 30 days. It's basically teachers going abroad to an EU member state and completing courses related to their projects, the themes of their projects, or the needs of their school. So you can receive funding for up to 10 days with these courses and trainings per participant, sorry. So for the learners, there's 3 different kind of formats available. There's a group mobility of school pupils lasting 2 to 30 days, and that's a minimum of 2 pupils per group. Then there's the short-term learning mobility of pupils. That's 10 to 29 days. And for the short-term learning mobility, an individual learning agreement per participant must be drawn up. So that's kind of one of the key differences between the group mobility and short-term learning mobility, which is why we'd advise you again to read that program guide. It will have more details on that. And then you have the long-term learning mobility of pupils, which is much longer, between 30 days and up to a year. We're definitely trying to promote that. It's a great experience for students to go and learn a language or a culture and to really assimilate and learn the education of a different country. And you'll see there on that page, in addition to the physical mobility, all pupil mobility activities can be blended with virtual activities. So basically, you can complete kind of virtual elements, digital elements to it using available tools like eTwinning. Maybe some of you are aware of eTwinning. It is now called ESSEP, it's now merged with ESSEP, the European Schools Education Platform. It's basically kind of an online meeting point and collaboration point for teachers and educators across Europe to collaborate on teaching projects, ideas. Language classes might do pen paling. There's been a different range of projects done between them. It's a really, really interesting tool. So you could kind of blend half of it physical mobility, actually going abroad, and then half of it online. But those kind of figures for the specifications and the kind of days that you can apply for, they only apply to the actual physical going abroad component. And then other activities, we have a bit on the next page. So you can invite experts. Maybe they'll have an interesting perspective or idea to bring to your school and contribute to that. They can say from 2 to 60 days. Hosting teachers in training. So kind of teachers that are in the process of qualifying or have just qualified, you can host them to come to your school from 10 days to a year, which can be a good experience, especially for language classes. And then I'll have a bit more on prep visits. So the definition of a preparatory visit is a visit to a prospective hosting organization. So hosting organization being the receiving school, so the school that you are going to stay with, either the staff or the students from the sending organization, your school, with the purpose of better preparing a learner or staff mobility activity. So I have a bit more detail on these ones. So invited experts, schools can invite trainers, teachers, policy experts, or other qualified professionals, anyone that could bring something positive to their school from abroad who can help them improve their teaching, training, and learning at the receiving school. To demonstrate new teaching methods or help transfer good practices in organization and management. There's also hosting teachers and educators in training, like we said. To complete a traineeship period abroad in the process or recently graduated. And then preparatory visits, we would encourage for some special kind of projects that require a little bit more logistical planning and management. So you set up a preparatory visit and you apply for it in your application to the hosting school before the mobility takes place. So before you start your kind of, say it's a long-term pupil mobility, before that student goes away for like a year, they do a preparatory visit, maybe with what's called an accompanying person, to plan and to make sure that they have everything that they need and to meet with teachers. But also it should, as I said, taken from the program guide. Preparatory visits should aim to improve inclusiveness, the scope, and the quality of mobility activities. So maybe a participant needs a little bit of extra support. It's important for them to go over, maybe they have a physical or a mental disability and they need to go over to that school, and arrangements can be made. For teachers to collaborate and plan before a project starts. Okay. So a mobility project, so basically the whole thing consists of 4 stages. Planning, so that's your application stage, defining the learning outcomes, picking your activity formats. So if you're going to do group pupil mobility, maybe you're going to do a group pupil mobility and sending staff and abroad for courses and training, which is possible. You can mix activity formats in a single project. Picking a theme of the project and designing your plan. Developing your work program, which should be developed in collaboration with a partner school, and learning activities designed with the partner school. There should be kind of an element of collaboration with your EU partner school, if it's not courses and training, of course. Then there's preparation, your logistics, the practical arrangements. Maybe you're doing a preparatory visit at this stage. Selecting participants and making sure that selection process is open, fair, transparent, and equal. And especially kind of encouraging participants with fewer opportunities to take part as well. Setting up agreements with partners and participants. Again, later we'll describe the Erasmus quality standards that are really important to consider and agree to before the mobility. And then perhaps there could be linguistic, intercultural preparation if required, and task-related preparation of participants. So it kind of depends on which mobility format you pick. If, say, there's a long-term mobility of a pupil, they might want to avail of what's called linguistic support, which is a great, and it's really would highlight or enhance the mobility before they go off for a year. And then phase 3 is the implementation. So that's actually going abroad and doing the mobility activities. And then there's the follow-up. So you return to your school, you implement your findings, you evaluate the success of those findings, and then dissemination. So sharing internally with all staff so they can it can improve the school and everyone can benefit from that project. And then sharing externally as well, promoting the outcomes to the public, and then impact as well, making sure it's had impact on the school. So a lot of questions we have recently are kind of what should my project focus on? It's obviously quite a lot to take in, but it kind of depends on the needs of your school, like the needs of the students as well. So we get different sizes schools and they have different priorities. But on the left, me and Caroline's beautiful word cloud worked very hard on this. These are some examples of themes that we've seen in the past few years. Outdoor education is a really nice one that is up and coming, especially nice with the sustainability aspect. Promoting languages, European heritage and culture, diversity, the arts, anti-bullying, digital skills. And then I put to the right as well, what could be an idea for next year's projects, the upcoming EU elections in 2024. This stat is from Youth Wiki Ireland this year, actually November of this year, so it's pretty recent. That the young people voting in these elections, it has improved from the past, but it definitely has some more room for improvement. So kind of teaching students with another country about democratic participation could be something that's really interesting for our project. So we're going to take you through a few case studies now of different projects that have taken place in the past. So the first one was an 18-month project with a budget of 36,200, and that accounts for both staff and pupil mobilities. So this one was focused on new innovative technologies and teaching methods among staff, but also focusing on raising awareness on sustainability in the area of fashion among pupils. So they were small enough co-educational secondary school with 158 students and 30 staff, with 8 non-teaching staff, and a very strong international dimension to that school. So that was the objective there. So more tools for learning, strengthening relationships with the European community, and then connecting more learners using digital technologies. So this proposal was what we call a multi-flow request, meaning that over 18 months, they'd have different mobilities. So maybe the teachers went, or the students went on with a group mobility to the school, and then the teachers went to a courses and training, different flows they're called. So it took place 18 months, and so it took for CPD courses for the staff in those areas, as we said, and then the student mobility involved 6 TY students, 3 required inclusion support. We're going to go into that, I promise, at the end, for a 10-day visit to an already sourced hosting Spanish school. And then also preparation involved a preparatory visit. So maybe they went over before with the teacher to scope out the project and that school and their needs as well. So it was a good project, great success, and really great idea on fashion, sustainability, inclusion, and my screen is cut off there, and diversity, good feature of mobility. So the next one is a really nice project that was quite small. Whoops, no, there we go. So the budget was 9,500 and the title was Engaging Children Through Drama. So this was a primary school with 17 staff and 112 students that carried out a 7-day mobility. So courses and training for the staff, for four staff members. So it aimed to increase self-confidence, communication, and social skills through the medium of drama. It's really nice, again, one focusing on the arts. And this was a really nice project that we saw, and something kind of different that could give you an idea. I'm going to try to kind of put this to life with a video that we have, and I'll try and share my sound. Hopefully it works. But this video is from St. Edith's Special School in Drogheda, and they were winners of EITA, so the European Innovative Teaching Awards this year, and they had a really fantastic project, and it might bring it to life a little bit more, all of this information. So I will try and share my audio, hopefully. Yep. Share sound. Let's see if this works. You just give me a thumbs up.
My name is Micheál, and I am the principal here in St. Edith's Special School in County Louth, in Drogheda, in the Republic of Ireland. St. Edith's is a school that's just this week celebrating 60 years in existence. It's a special school for children from the age of 4 to 18. We primarily have children who have got a mild general learning disability, but we also have a number of children who have high moderate learning disabilities. And in that we have children with diagnosis of Down syndrome, children with physical disabilities, we have children who have social and emotional challenges, and of course a larger and ever-growing number of children who have ASD or are on the autistic spectrum. Our project was on fostering of positive approaches, holistic approaches, to looking at social technologies and the challenges for children with SEN. SEN students are much more vulnerable online and in the use of technologies than their mainstream peers. And the challenge was that it was infiltrating school, because these things were maybe happening outside of school, but were coming into school. And we wanted to be in a position where we could assist our young people to deal with these challenges. The innovation for us was we wanted to flip the idea of social media. So when we spoke to a lot of people about technologies, it was in a negative. What we really wanted to do is we wanted to look at, could we turn that on its head and talk about the positive nature of using handheld technologies and social technology. So when we went away, we wanted to see what was positively happening across Europe in our partner countries, and how could we bring little pieces of that back to help our learning, to empower our staff, and I suppose to educate our young people. It was, I would describe it as incrementally innovative. So it was about incremental, small little changes that enhanced our teaching and their learning. So we looked at simple things. We looked at the use of, for instance, Facebook to enhance the image of our school, but also to enhance the well-being, the sociability of our young people. So looking at ensuring that if they were on school trips or if they were creating in school and if they were achieving in school, that was visible and was out there for the wider community to see. And as well as that, we often had parents then who would be putting in great work, well done. So it was a positive side of the use of social technologies. Being recognised as a small special school on the east coast of Ireland as being innovative is wonderful. It validates us. It validates our teaching and learning. It validates our students. It validates all of the areas of our school community. We are just so happy to have achieved this. And it's the culmination of lots and lots and lots of effort. My name is Micheál.
I hope you all heard that. That was a really nice project that we had. Hopefully gave you a bit of inspiration. Really nice inclusive project and something different as well. So moving on. Is my sound back to normal as well?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So I can't see my, oh yes. So just a bit more information about Key Action 122 projects, the ones we're all here for today. So these short-term projects have a duration of 6 to 18 months. So if you are successful in your application in February, you will be able to start from June, I believe, from 6 to 12 months. That's the duration of the projects. So the max number of participants per application is 30, but this isn't including accompanying persons. Say that's 30 pupils, and then it's an additional 2 or 3, say, teachers that go with you on the mobility and prep visits as well. That doesn't include that. Individual participants do not have to be named at the time of applying, so that's something kind of you don't have to in February worry about that. And then for the teacher training courses and events, the specific course doesn't have to, you don't have to know and name it in the February the application at that stage, but it's good to have kind of research done and a nice theme of the course selected, and then kind of have an indication of which country you hope to carry out that course. And then for budget, we will be having a more detailed application clinic in January about the budget section of the application. So we would recommend that you would check our website and maybe subscribe to our newsletter to see that date, and we'll communicate it with you all. But for your budget, you'll have to put in a section for travel, of course, individual support like sustenance fees for when you're abroad, course fees, organizational support, and then there's more supports like inclusion support as well. But again, we will go through that at a later date. Just some other things. So again, the Erasmus Plus program guide, we call it our Erasmus Bible, is really important. But yeah, very dense. So from pages 160 or 107, I think that should be 107. 107 onwards is really important for the schools, and it will guide your application and make sure you're kind of on the right path. So also an OID, so that's an organization identification number, is needed for any school to apply. It's a pretty simple process, but we have the links here, and we'll share these slides with you after this session. But on our website, there's a kind of a blog on how to apply, the documents needed to apply, and that process. And then, so the next application deadline is the 20th of February at 11 a.m. Which, yeah, as I said, the project start dates, if you were successful on that round, would be between the 1st of June 2024 and then the 31st of December 2025. So yeah, I would definitely keep up to date with our website and newsletter for those dates on information about that. And also, I don't know if this is in the slides, but we will be having an additional 2 sessions in January, but an additional support session, information session about inclusion support, whether that would be for financial difficulties, inclusion supports for participants with fewer ops that might need additional needs. We will be holding a session about that on January 18th. Location will be announced. Just keep up to date with our website and we will communicate that with you. Could be of use. So about finding partners for your mobility project. So it's a pretty daunting experience, but you have a lot of tools out there available to help. So your first kind of port of call is ESSEP, so the European Education School, that should be the European School Education Platform, which was formerly School Education Gateway. So now ESSEP has combined e-twinning, so you'll find e-twinning there as well. So ESSEP is really great for teachers and all stakeholders in the school education sector to collaborate, to communicate, to build kind of partnerships, and then within that platform to launch e-twinning projects for their pupils and staff. Can kind of bring an exciting dimension to the everyday classroom. So you'll find also on ESSEP a course catalogue. So if you want to do staff courses within that, you'll find kind of highly ranked courses there. You can search for partners, and there'll be tips as well for Erasmus Plus applications. So there's the links there for that. Also, you have just below on the right our e-twinning team here at Lergus, and their contact details are on our website. They deal with e-twinning and they're very good at what they do. So get in touch with them if you want to be involved with e-twinning. You also have, so if you're looking for kind of project idea inspiration, you have the Erasmus Plus project results platform, which is a great tool. You can filter it down to country, to themes. You're looking at key action 1, short-term mobilities, put that filter on, and the schools, make sure it's the schools education sector as well. Just to get an idea of past Irish schools, what they've done, projects, themes, and whatnot. And you have also there a report on the impact of mobility projects on the professional development of staff, which can be good to kind of show maybe to management to get them on your side for a mobility project. We have a really useful blog there written by someone on the Erasmus Plus team here at Lergus on tips for your application. Application forms are not up yet. I think they'll go up probably at the end of this month or early January. There's the link there. And then again, the program guide for the 1000th time. Other opportunities. So there's also the Jan Monnet initiative. which allows teachers and training institutions to apply for funding in order to teach about the EU in Erasmus Plus program countries. So there's a number of calls, and again, you can consult our website for more information about that. There's learning initiatives for individual schools, networks of schools, and teacher trainings. You have the link there if you want more information on Jean Monnet. I think that's us. That's our team and our contact details. If you have any more questions, please get in touch. And then I'm not sure. I'm going to stop sharing.
Eve, thank you for that. Well done.
No worries.
I think you're talking for about half an hour. If you want to unshare your screen, we can take questions, guys. I don't know if people want to put up the hands, or do people have queries or anything on the Erasmus Plus program?
I might just stop recording as well for the questions.
Thanks, Caroline.